When Susan asked me to pick a date to preach from, and I just, landed on today, no special reason, but when she asked, we were in the middle of Advent season, and I don't know if y'all know my darling beloved husband back there, but there are certain movie requirements on TV. Okay? Scrooge, Frosty the Snowman, Holiday Inn, White Christmas. Now, we're not going to debate whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie, because of course it is. No. Today, we take a look at good old George Bailey. It's a Wonderful Life, George Bailey. And he is standing in the middle of a cheering crowd of friends and neighbors, his wife and kids. He's just had the closest call of his life. He's barely escaped a serious charge of bank fraud. You see, George's uncle lost a large deposit. And since George was the responsible party, the loss was his to account for. His reputation, the stability of the community he served, and the future of the savings and loan he owned, they were all at risk. As he faced the prospect of losing everything, he contemplated not being born. But y'all know God has one heck of a sense of humor. He sends George help in the body of an angel named Clarence. And Clarence pretends to be drowning because George might not think of himself as being worthy, but he is certainly going to jump in and save anyone else. Now, I don't think George realized he was a servant to all the people in his community. George's friends and family, they came to the rescue. Yet, first the community was fit to be tied, but they pulled it together as soon as they heard what was happening, and they replaced the lost funds with money from their own pockets, or they only took what was absolutely needed in their lives. Their loving actions saved George and the family business. As he stands in the middle of what has become a huge Christmas party in his life, George says, "I'm the luckiest man alive." Right about then is when that little bell rings, and it's Clarence getting his wings. Now, I want to challenge George's assessment of his life situation for just a moment. The dictionary defines luck as a force that brings fortune or adversity. So, good luck and bad luck. If we wanted to use luck as a theme for George's situation, we could say it was bad luck that allowed the money to be lost in the first place, and good luck that his friends were willing and able to bail him out just ahead of the bank examiners. But does luck really explain all that happened to George? He has so much happen to him. Actually, it happened around him because the Lord took him out of his life. And so he could see what it would be without him. So for 2 generations, his family had run that savings and loan in town where he lived. Their customers were Working families, lower income folks, I mean, anything that a sneeze would just throw them off kilter. This included the elderly and the disabled. George's willingness to trust people and help them out when they were in trouble had earned him the respect and admiration of the entire town. George had been sacrificial in his relations with his family. He missed going to college and traveling so that a younger brother of his could serve in the military in a time of war. He even postponed his own honeymoon to help calm a financial panic. I don't even remember if they ever made it on the honeymoon because they started having so many children after that. George was not lucky. George was blessed. He was blessed with compassion and good sense. He was blessed with good friends and a caring family. He was blessed with integrity and wisdom. I want you to listen to those words again. Compassion, good sense, good friends, caring family, integrity, wisdom. These blessings in George's life did not come to him just floating down from the sky like those wispy snow flurries we had yesterday morning. I don't know if y'all saw that, but yeah, okay. It didn't happen like that. He did not find these blessings in a basket on the porch like a little foundling. These blessings were present in George's life as a direct result of choices George made and the values he adopted. In this sense, what happened to George at the end of the movie should not have come as a surprise. The responses he received from his friends and neighbors were a direct result of the choices he made and the values he lived out. If we wanted to step back and comment on that final scene of the movie, we might look at George and say, "Congratulations, George. The good things you have put in motion in your life are coming back to you tenfold." All of that to say, I think It's a Wonderful Life might provide a good foundation for understanding the Beatitudes. The blessings serve as an introduction to the Sermon on the Mount. Matthew seems to have structured both the setting, which is that crowd gathered on a high place, and the material in a way that presents Jesus as the new Moses. If this was Matthew's intention, then the Beatitudes would correspond roughly to new commandments. In fact, the Beatitudes have sometimes been referred to as the new law, but they are not really commandments. They're blessings. But what does that mean to us? There have been many efforts over the years to find just the right word or words to translate the Greek word makarios. It's a Greek adjective meaning blessed, happy, or fortunate, though I think I might have to throw out happy. Happy are they that mourn. Ugh. Happy are they who are persecuted. No, I don't think so. I don't think happy is going to be our word. Taking our cue from George Bailey in today's vernacular, congratulations is possibly a better way of hearing what Jesus is saying. Using the word congratulations keeps in front of us the sense of something being bestowed on us. Jesus pronounces a congratulatory word for our willingness or ability to accomplish some deed or adopt some value. In other words, the use of congratulations strikes an appropriate balance between what we have done and what God is doing. For instance, some of the Beatitudes are the results of choices made and values adopted. Congratulations to the self-disciplined or the meek. Congratulations to those whose heart is pure. Congratulations to those who show mercy. Congratulations to those who hunger and thirst after the right. Congratulations to those who are peacemakers. And congratulations to those who can mourn. And some of the Beatitudes reflect situations over which we absolutely have no control. They are situations that in some cases may be scorned, but Jesus makes them an occasion for congratulations. Congratulations to those who are poor in spirit. Congratulations to those who are persecuted for doing what is right. Congratulations to those who are reviled and slandered. There's a second part to all of the congratulations. It's because, but Jesus is acknowledging that God doesn't just see our situation, but in these instances, he is affirming us. Jesus is not praising us for finding a way to earn God's favor. It's not about that. There is no sense that salvation is conferred on those who practice these things. Jesus isn't even saying we should be doing these things. He is simply affirming them and indicates why they are important by pointing out where those qualities lead. Congratulations to the meek. Jesus affirms our meekness, our self-discipline, because he knows that it is the discipline of the world that will end up getting things done. They're inheriting the earth. Our capacity to mourn is affirmed only through the appropriate expression of grief can comfort come. Our focused desire to have and do the right thing is affirmed. Jesus knows that people who seek for what is truly worth having in life are the only people who really appreciate life and find it fulfilling. Our willingness to show mercy is affirmed. Jesus knows that a heart closed to others cannot receive the mercy he has for us. Our commitment to doing peace in our world is affirmed. Jesus knows that our only hope to be a real family of human beings rests on our willingness to live with each other in peace. Our desire for our motives and actions to be consistent or pure in heart are affirmed. Jesus knows that people with this kind of integrity are most open to his presence. And being poor is not a sign of God's absence, as some in the ancient and current world may have believed. There is an advantage to being poor in heart. We are to be congratulated. We of all people, as poor in heart, have learned to depend on God. Neither is it a disgrace to suffer for the right. Like the poor, our suffering teaches us how to depend on God for our needs. In fact, God affirms us when our values and actions of doing what is right brings wrath from the authorities. Angry responses to our acts of faithfulness by forces and institutions that practice injustice in our world serve as a judgment on those very forces. Their efforts to silence us and punish us demonstrate the depth of the evil that is in them. Sometimes we might think our lives are governed by luck, subject to the winds of change, or we might believe we are governed by some predestined script that we are all living out, each of us acting out the parts written for us. But neither luck nor fate allows for any congratulations. Congratulations are only appropriate in a world where we may choose our lives, choose our actions, and choose our values. There are consequences and benefits depending on what choices we make and what values we adopt. In the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus affirms those attitudes and actions that mark us out as God's children. When they are present in our lives, we are to be congratulated. Maybe we should add a new one. Blessed are those who are congratulated by God. It means they've been listening, learning, and making the right choices.